officers, warrant officers, senior NCOs, junior NCOs, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Lieutenant Ingram, Welfare Officer, and I'll be leading as your moderator today, and I thank you for this opportunity. The Chaplaincy and Welfare Department has as its mandate to support command. We do this by providing the support necessary to nurture the spiritual, emotional, and social well-being of each soldier so that the soldier can be fit for fight, fit for life, and fit for his and her family. In order to accomplish this, we have been doing, amongst other things, regular Padre Hour sessions with each formation, as well as conducting a lecture and discussions series that deals with personal and professional development, as well as mental health. World Mental Health Day, sponsored by the WHO, is observed on October 10 every year, with the overall objective of raising awareness of mental health issues around the world and mobilizing efforts in support of mental health. The Jamaica Defense Force, through the collaboration of the Chaplaincy and Welfare Department and the Health Services Corps, is hosting a week of activities to highlight the importance of mental health. The week's activities began with the church service at the Garrison Church on the 3rd of October. Mental health is essential for a person's overall health. According to the WHO, there is no health without mental health. Mental health is important and cannot be ignored. Prevention works, treatment is effective, and people can recover from mental disorders and live full and productive lives. Mental health and functioning can be enhanced and quality of life preserved. Today's mental health seminar focuses on substance abuse and its implication on mental health. It is hoped that through the lecture, service members will have great appreciation for mental health of all, as well as to learn effective methods of dealing with difficult situations so that their families may have lived a full and a fulfilled life. It is our desire that these sessions will be a result in the engendering of culture of preventative care within our ranks, our families, and the wider society. Our speaker this morning is Greg McNally. He is a licensed associate counseling psychologist and certified clinical supervisor. Presently, he is also the senior counselor at the University of Technology in Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, with our introduction short, we expect that the presentation will be spicy. And we heard good reviews earlier this week from Mr. McNally's presentation, so we're very pleased to have you again, sir. Please make him feel welcome. Thank you. Mr. McNally.
Thank you.
Petro, what are you doing here? You're not nice, I go. You no smoke, I go. And that to no pick, that never any youth. A bag you grab. You see me? I all day, I all night, I all day long, I all day, I all night, I all day long. Me not do nothing wrong. If you really know me, you know say me love with truly. I ready in the station, not the real meaning unruly.
So oftentimes when we think about substance use in Jamaica, our mind first goes to marijuana, right? We think about weed. And, you know, there's a culture in Jamaica that weed is, weed is cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with weed, and there's nothing wrong with a little weed. In fact, probably that video brought back memories. Probably you were there in your seat and you were like, yeah, yo, we should have some of that. No, lighter, you know. And it just puts you, in a certain place. So I want to start off by asking you a question this morning. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to live? Just think about that. Where would you want to live? Like, where would you want to be right now? If you weren't in this room, and you weren't in the JDF, and you weren't in Jamaica, well, maybe in Jamaica, but not here, not physically where you are right now, where would you want to be? Think about that. All right, and if it couldn't be you and you could be somebody else, who would you choose to be? It could be perhaps a position within the JDF, it could be a position within the country, it could be something otherwise, something more socially wider, like probably a husband, a wife, a millionaire, a billionaire. Who would you want to be? And if you could have any experience right now, what experience would you want to be having right now? Even as you sit there, you're like, yo, this is not the experience I would want. Sitting here, listening to Craig, this isn't it. No. This isn't it. This isn't it. You see, I ask you those questions because substances have a way of putting us into those places. Substances have a way of doing that. And these on the screen are some of the substances that are most used, are most abused, and most misused. Are you seeing any of them that you use or abuse or misuse? Let me see. We have some. I see a glass of wine. I see some cocaine. I see cigarette. So alcohol is there. I see Mary's there, right? Marijuana. I also see prescription medications there, right? What else? What else am I missing? Right. So I'm seeing some stuff, and these things are usually the drugs that people use all the time. And when we talk about substances, they usually are divided into 4 sections. Here they are. The first section we want to focus on are stimulants. And with the stimulants, these are commonly swallowed, or they are sometimes snorted, right? And sometimes even injected, and yeah, there's a rectal option, guys. All right. Short-term risk include agitation, psychotic symptoms, right? All of these things, stroke and all that. And then long-term, we see the symptoms there, impulsive behavior and dependency and so on. So what the stimulants do is that the stimulants stimulate you. They make you happy. They energize you, all right? And then we have the hallucinogens. And what the hallucinogens, if the word hallucination comes to mind, you're on the right track. So with the hallucinations, what they do is they pretty much sometimes cause you to see things that are not there. They sometimes cause you to experience things that are not really going on. All right, the next category are the cannabinoids, and these include these symptoms. Well, what will happen with these is that they will make you relaxed, but long term you develop a psychological dependency on them and so on. And then we have our depressants, and what the depressants do is the opposite of the stimulants. So the depressants make you calm. They calm you down and they make you feel nice and mellow, you know, kind of like what was going on in the song. Now, I don't know if when you think about drugs, particularly like even weed, perhaps somebody looking like this is what comes to me. I think about Bonganate and high grade and thing. In fact, you probably look at me and think, well, I'm probably somebody who smokes weed because of my hairstyle. It's just a hairstyle, trust me. Right? But this is the type of person, if you're honest, this is the type of person who we often associate with things like marijuana, right? But to be very honest with you, if you look to your right and if you look to your left, the person next to you is actually somebody who could very well be using a substance, abusing a substance, or even misusing a substance, right? Anybody is susceptible to becoming dependent or abusing a substance. It's not only for special people or only certain types of people. And what us as psychologists have discovered is that exposure to stressful situations actually increase the tendency towards using these substances, some of those that we saw earlier in the picture. Now, this is a interactive presentation, emphasis on active. So you're not going to sit there and just stare at me. You're actually going to be participating in this. Yay. So, what I would like for us to do, first of all, is I'd love for a couple of you to come up here, and I have some markers, and what I want you to do with these markers, and I'm just going to put them down here, right? I have a bunch of them here. And what I want you to do is you're going to take up a marker, and I want you to come up here, and I want you to write something. Maybe I should move this forward. I want you to write something that, hopefully this goes well and it doesn't end in a disaster. Oh, great. Awesome. So I want a couple of you to come up here. You're going to take a marker, and I want you to write down some of the things in life. Maybe there are things that you even experience personally. Some of the things that are really stressful for you. Or some situations, maybe some crises that you have experienced in your life. And when you take up a marker and you use it, just drop it in here so that nobody else touches that. All right, that's how we're going to observe our COVID protocols this morning. And believe me, there are tons of them, all different colors and so on. So just come on up, pick one, and I want you to write that thing right here on the heart. Come on up, come on up, come on up. Don't be shy, don't be shy, don't be shy. It could be anything. It could be COVID. It could be anything that is stressful for you. Anything that is stressful for you. And just you can write it anywhere you want to. All right, anywhere you want to. Let's get some gentlemen up here now, writing down a couple of things. Our men don't stress over stuff. I mean, I know men tend to internalize things a lot. Women tend to externalize. So what that means is that men tend to deal with things inside and not want to talk about or express what is going on with them. But I know you guys want to change that narrative. So let's get some gentlemen coming down here. Maybe it's baby mother stress. All right, maybe it's a broken relationship. Maybe it's financial issues, right? And I'm not saying it has to be your issue. I'm just saying put some stuff on here that people find stressful. But let's get some male representation. We have had women coming up so far. And since I'm sure everybody in here is a leader, you want to demonstrate that leadership quality as well, gentlemen. Come now, what the man them there? Come forward, gentlemen. Quickly. All right, let me reframe it. Can we get some brave gentlemen coming up here to add some issues to the board? Yes, no, he's changing his seat. Come on now, gentlemen. Is this where I have to pull on your rank and ask you to order somebody to come up here and do this? Oh my gosh. All right, so we have one. Okay. All right, and I'm going to represent the gentleman. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to put baby mother. She has stress. She has stress. Me, she want money and pampers and all kind of things. Maybe it's a living situation. Maybe, I don't know. There are just so many issues. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, great. So anybody else? Anybody else coming up? Anybody else coming up? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Gone. All right, great. So thank you so much for adding all of these things. We have traffic. We have financial issues. We have interpersonal relationships, right? Can be very stressful. We have failure. That's an interesting one. We have failure. We have the one that I added, baby mother, right? A nagging spouse, right? We have JDF. No. Yes, of course, JDF can be stressful. And we have dad being ill. So having an illness in the family, all of these things can create stress, right? So we had traffic, we had financial, we had baby mother, nagging spouse, failure, interpersonal relationships, and all of these things have a way of impacting us emotionally, don't it? Don't it? Just like this heart that I have here, and it's really, God, you know, these things can really crush us, you know, they can really crush our spirit, you know, especially failure. In fact, I remember a friend of mine who had wanted to be a pilot, and he did not get through to the, I think it was JDF, right? He didn't get into the JDF program to be a pilot, and he was so devastated. He was crushed, right? And so these issues have a way of impacting us psycho-emotionally. They crush our spirit, and they cause us to feel defeated and all these kinds of things. And you know, we go through them, and you know, we try to put on a brave face, and so you know, we try and work through the issues. You know, we try and work through them. We try and work through them. So here I am working through my issues, and I'm gonna, just try and, it's gonna take a little while, but I'm working through them. I'm trying to sort them out, right? Sorting through the issues. There, I got it. Nice, and see, it looks like a heart again. I know some of you were worried and you were thinking that I wasn't going to get it to look like a heart again. It wasn't going to look, but it looks like a heart. See, has the, looks like a heart, but it has all of these, what's the word, emaciated. It has all these cracks and creases and tears and, oh my God, all kind of issues, right? All kind of things. And so when we are unable to get ourselves to look the way that we want to look and to feel the way that we want to feel, going through all of these issues, that's when we turn to substances, because as far as we're concerned, we have done everything possible to deal with these issues, to resolve the issues, and to come back to feel like human again. But there's some other reasons that people abuse substances. Sometimes you're bored. Nothing for you, just there the yard. And especially if during COVID, there are many people who have lost their job, there are many people who are furloughed, there are many people who are working less hours than they usually do. And so they are more at home than at work, and they're bored and they don't have nothing to do, and they're tired of Netflix. They watch every movie on Netflix, and they have nothing more to do, right? And talking about home, being at home more, there are so many issues being at home, because for many people, work was the distraction. Right? They could leave the yard, leave the old walkless man at the yard, leave the nagging woman, right? Leave her there and actually go. Leave the parents there. If you have somebody wrote dad being ill. Sometimes even if you have somebody who you're caring for and you are their carer and you are at home, sometimes being able to leave the yard to go somewhere else, to talk to some other people and interact and so on is the relief that you need, and you can't really do that because COVID has kind of shrunk down everything and time and all these kind of things. People also abuse substances because they want relief from unpleasant emotions, and so they are self-medicating. Sometimes you are dealing with anxiety and depression, and maybe you've gone to a mental health professional and they've suggested medication, psychotropic meds, but you're not in the medication thing because Pastor did say one time at church we're not supposed to take them things there, or maybe those things are demonic, and so we just need to go in some more prayer and fasting. Hey, skatai, hey, and right? And there's a place for that, right? But sometimes we need legal drugs. Well, you know, there are different, I should have probably said this at the very beginning, there are different types of substances. There are legal drugs that you can go, you know, and go into a pharmacy and buy, you know, over the counter. There are other legal drugs which you need a prescription for, and then there are illegal, illicit drugs and so on and so on and so forth. Right. So sometimes there are some things that we need to do that we are not doing. It's very odd when a woman comes in for counseling and she says that her male partner is actually interested in counseling, but she's not. It's very odd when the man comes to counseling, but his girlfriend doesn't want to come for counseling, because usually it's the men who are not into that stuff, right? So there's some of us who are not doing what we need to do to get better, and so we're just self-medicating. And one of the easiest ways to self-medicate is to go out and probably have a drink or two, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, right? And smoke some weed and nice up with self and so on. But there's one which I don't have on this, which I want to share with you. Sometimes our job causes us to, or dictates to us, that we need to function a certain way. We need to look a certain way, especially if you're in the human services field. You know, you kind of have to come to work every day looking, hey, what's going on? You know, it's a great day, and so on and so on and so on. And there comes a point, even if your job is very stressful and you have to try and keep on top of your job, you have to keep on top of things, and you're not there emotionally, you're just not there emotionally, you're not there mentally, you don't feel motivated. And so what helps you is your little picker-upper. Well, I don't know what you call it. Maybe you call it your little picker-upper. Maybe you call it your little friend. Maybe you call it your nice time. Maybe you call it your me time. I don't know. But there's something that you take, a substance, which just helps you, that once you get to the gate, you turn into that person who is ready, who is here, who is alert, at least so you think, and it helps you, right? So these substances that we take, they are psychoactive, or they have psychoactive elements. What that means really in layman's terms is that these substances cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay, no. I said layman terms, right? Okay. Basically what it means is that these drugs affect your brain. They are psychoactive. They impact your brain, all right? And they impact your brain on certain levels. Sensation, perception, don't worry, I'm going to explain all of this. What you're not seeing here that is cut off is mood, consciousness, cognitions, and behavior, and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm going to explain all of that. But before I do that, I'm wondering if I could get 6 volunteers to come down here. I need 6 volunteers. I need 6 brave men and women to come down here. 6. I only need. I know all of you want to come down. I know all of you want to come. But I only need 6. I only need 6 of y'all. Okay, we have 1. Please stand over here, ma'am. Please stand over here. Come on, we need 5 more. We need 5 more. We need 5 more. We need 5 more. Listen, this is not the presentation where I just stand there and talk to you and you listen. No, that is not this, all right? Good, so we have 3 over here. Wonderful, wonderful. We need 3 more, 3 more, 3 more, 3 more. We need 3 more. You could be a civilian. It doesn't really matter. You come on down here. Let's get a civilian in this. Come on, yes, come down, come down, come down. Yes, and then we need 2 others. 2 others, we need 2 others. Yes, this gentleman coming through the door. Thank you so much for volunteering. Sir, just step right over here. Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? We have 2 persons, this gentleman and this lady. We need 1 more person. 1 more person. 1 more person. Please stand over here, sir. Please stand to my left. Thank you so much for volunteering. You don't even know what this is all about, but yet you volunteered. We need 1 more. 1 more person. Who will it be? Yes, Lieutenant Ingram. Come up here. Come up here. Come up here. Thank you so much. If you could just stand more to the right. Thank you so much. That's good. Okay, come on, put our hands together. Come on, clap the puppy shows that came down. Clap them, clap them, clap them, clap them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Now, you folks, sir, if you could come back over here. You folks are going to help me to explain what happens when we ingest a substance and how it affects our body, how it affects our brain, really. So these substances, right, whether it's marijuana, alcohol, cigarettes, cocaine, you name it, all of these substances, prescription drugs, opioids, etc., all of these things impact our central nervous system, right? Because so within our central nervous system, we have what's called receptors and neurons and all these things. And they are bathed with chemicals. And these chemicals that pass through, right, with our receptors and all of that, they cause different things to happen in our body, right? And these things that happen to our body, sometimes, let me get my phone. You see, what happens is that the substances, oftentimes, sometimes a substance can mimic a chemical in the body. So for example, your body might not be producing a certain amount of a chemical that it needs in order to function. And so you can ingest drugs, perhaps a prescribed substance that will act like that chemical that your brain is not, that your body is not producing, right? And then sometimes what chemicals do is to block certain things, certain chemicals from being released, all right? But what a lot of these substances do is they particularly speed up our body or slow down our body. But you know, to be honest with you, I'm not doing a good job of explaining how that works. So what's going to happen is the persons on the right, I'm going to play some music, and they are going to demonstrate for us how, when the substances impact our body, how they slow down our body. Okay, they're going to show how these substances slow down our body. So guys, I don't know if you know about interpretive dance or whatever it is, however you want to however you want to interpret the music, but you're going to be demonstrating for us how substances slow down our body. And thanks so much for volunteering for this. I really, you know, I can tell. I can tell you're very excited, especially this gentleman right here. So it's you guys, all right? So show us how, you know, how the substances affect us, how they slow down our body. Just feel the music. You don't have to dance with each other, but just feel the music. You know, just feel the music. No, actually, sorry. This is fast. How it feels when right. So it's how right. Okay, cool. So you see how fast they're moving, right? So that's what happens. The substances, the stimulants cause your body to, you know, just react very quickly and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sometimes the substances slow down the body. Right. So let's see what that looks like. Smart. Very smart. Very, very smart. No, it's individually. Just nice and slow, you know. Yeah. Come on, clap them. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Oops. Thank you so much for doing that. Right. So, how these substances affect your brain is in terms of sensation. And when we talk about the senses, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about information that is coming into our body that we hear, that we smell, that we taste, and that we see and touch and so on. And then perception is how we are interpreting this information that is coming in. So sometimes we can ingest a chemical, for example, let's say alcohol, and what that does, alcohol is actually a depressant. Okay, so it doesn't cause your neurons would be firing as normal, as we saw with the group over there, you know, moving fast and so on. And then what alcohol does is it, just like how the AC just went, it slows you down and it impacts your perception. And so you will see the step. You know you're supposed to go up the step. But you are perceiving the step to be much further out than it actually is. Or it seems higher than it actually is. Okay? So that's what is meant by sensation and perception. And then the part that you can't see over in the corner, mood. It impacts your mood. So you're perhaps just very agitated. You feel very miserable. Or they make you happy, right? And then consciousness is... like sleep is a state of consciousness. So sometimes they can cause you to sleep a lot. Like when I used to teach at the high school level, like a lot of the students, males, would think that marijuana would help them to learn better, but it didn't. So a lot of them would be sleeping in the classroom, right? So that impacted how conscious they were, how aware they were of what was happening, okay? And then there's cognition, which is your brain and your ability to think. So I could say to you, okay, what is 2 + 2? And you could say 4. But when you are under the influence of a substance, when you're substance affected, I could ask you a simple question, like, what is 5 + 5? And you're like, and it takes it forever because it slows down the systems. And behavior. So you come through the gate one morning and you're just wild. You're just, yeah, morning. You know, and you're just so energetic and all of this, right? So it's impacting your behavior. Substances relieve symptoms like sometimes the sadness and so on temporarily, but really with long-term use, it can cause a cycle to develop, and you can develop what's called a substance use disorder, which is just the new fancy term for drug addict. Right? So you become an addict, you can't function without this thing, and even though you know that it is impacting you significantly, it's still, you still just need to take this substance. So here's the last full participation that I need from you guys, and then I'm closing. We have some other markers here, so I'm going to put up these ones, and I have some post-its, right? I have some post-its, and again, I'm going to invite you guys to come on up, and I want you to, maybe you can share some things that you do. Have lots. Maybe you can share some things that you do instead of drugs. So maybe you run, maybe you go for walks, maybe you work out, maybe you go check bay, right? Whatever it is, what are some things that you do? I'm going to ask you to come up, write down those things, write down those suggestions, and then I want you to just put them on the board there. So I'm going to put one. I'm going to just choose any one. And I'm going to put down the most obvious one, exercise. Because when we exercise, it releases the nice feel-good chemicals, just the same as when we take those drugs, but it's definitely healthy. So come on down. What are some things that you do? Let's hear and let's see what some of those things are. Maybe you go see a movie. Maybe you travel every once in a while. Maybe you go out of town. Maybe you read your Bible. Maybe you going to church is something that helps you. Maybe it's Netflix. I don't know. Whatever it is. Let's share. Let's create a community resource where we can learn from each other. And remember, when you're done, just drop your marker into the green bin so that we don't spread anything. I'm sure we're getting some great ideas over there. All right, thank you so much. So let's see what we have. Listen to music. Great suggestion. Music has a way, of changing our mood. Music has a way of elevating us, and especially if you're going to do some exercise to that music, even better. We also have, I had put exercising. Ooh, sex. Huh? All right? If you can, because there are some people who can't, don't look shocked. Some people can't. Yeah, like for example, for religious reasons, there are some people who can't have sex because they're not married, right? So yeah, nothing wrong with that, right? But sex does release the feel-good chemical, release the endorphins into the bloodstream when you have that nice cum. Yeah, when you climax. So that's that. And then you're back to being human again. Yeah, okay. Probably should have done your research before you invited me. Done more research. Setting goals, I love this one. Because if you have some goals set, and the goals are realistic, you know, time bound and so on. If they are good goals, then we're not going to get frustrated and so on when we're not at a certain place because we had a goal in mind and we had a time frame in mind. So we're not going to feel frustrated and depressed because we feel like not now go on fewe. All right, I have to hurry. Writing, journaling. No, well, I don't really want to use the word journal because the man they might feel say, yo, man, no journal. But you can jot down some things in our book. Is it? Like, you know, how you feel? Is it? Talking to a friend, talking to somebody. And you guys have mental health services on campus, or on here, camp. Not camp. Spend time with friends and family. Yeah, this has become a treasure now, right? Because we can't really do it as widely and as much as we normally do. Praying is a way of relieving stress and feeling better about a situation, right? We make some declarations and decree and declare and tear down and tie up and bind and speak some things into being and speak some things into your life. Hey, can't tell so I get ready for, hey, even now, right? There's a time and place for everything. And finally, playing football or playing sports is a great way for you to relieve some stress. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. I hope you learned something. I hope that that as you learned, you also had fun and that you enjoyed yourself, because that's the best way to get information into your brain, by enjoying what it is that you're learning. I think we're going to go into our question and answer segment now. So Lieutenant Ingram, over to you. Thank you so much.